Yes, but engaging things on screen.
Like your face and me. We're live. Hello and welcome to Shifting Lanes Garage. This is the last show under that moniker. We'll be changing the name of the show very soon. I just have to make sure that nobody else uses this name for the show. But at any rate,
Shifting Lanes the flamethrower.
the kids are going to love this one. Oh, I can't wait for that movie.
Yes.
At any rate, we have multiple topics of interest tonight. With me, as always, is the one, the only, the guru of the Volvo, Mr. Gregson.
Where? It's not it, because it ain't me.
He says, sitting in front of a Volvo.
Just because I'm sitting in front of one does not make me a guru.
I would argue that your level of Volvo knowledge dwarfs 99.99999% of the population.
Yeah, probably. probably. But it's in the bottom 5% of Volvoists.
True.
But I will take the victory over the general population.
Gen Pop could suck it.
That's
Let
right.
me put it to you this way. I was at one time in my life a Volvoist, and even then you knew way more than I did.
True.
So how are things, my friend?
Things are good. I actually have two heaters going in the garage tonight, so it's actually not horrible in here, despite it being 2 degrees outside. So not too bad, but we did a quick family vacation over the weekend and came back to no heat in the house. So that was real fun in the dead of winter. And that's also why I have 2 heaters right now, because I borrowed one of my neighbor's space heaters.
Is your heat back on?
Yeah, heat's back on, thankfully. It's just a blower motor.
Oh, well, what a terrible time. Thank goodness your pipes didn't burst.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. My wife, Kate, says, "Oh man, our house is so poorly insulated." And I'm like, "You're about to find out that it is actually very well insulated because it didn't get below 53 degrees in the house, even with no heat, which is really solid."
That's pretty dang good.
Yeah, like we have a couple of drafty areas. The laundry room has a couple of holes in the wall that we never filled up from when we had pipes put in. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised that everything turned out as well as it did.
Because I mean, going away for a week this weekend was
temps got down into the single digits, so that wasn't fun.
No,
but blankets were aplenty, so we're good. But
good, glad to
back
see.
on now.
Casa de Gregson isn't a frozen husk.
Yes, it is not. It is no Lambeau Field. It is not the frozen tundra. Thankfully.
Huzzah! Football.
Foosball. But other than that, good. How about yourself? How are you, my friend?
Doing fantastic. Both our teams won this past weekend, and Broncos won, and the Seahawks won, and my quarterback's hurt, and we're playing the Patriots, and mildly annoying how fast they recovered.
Though, quick statistic, 8 quarterbacks in NFL history have started their first game ever in the playoffs, and not all of them have lost. They are 1-7, apparently.
Has Stidham not started a game?
He has not started a game.
I don't know. To be 100% honest, I would have just been feeding him Jeff Hostetler and Nick Foles clips all week.
Correct. Yeah.
Dating myself with the Hostetler reference.
Well, I was going to say, if there's prototypical, like, you really shine in the playoffs sort of runs, there's 2 of them that come to mind. One of them is Jeff Hostetler. The other one is Trent Dilfer. And I'm like, yeah, those. Just watch film of those 2. They managed the game. They both won Super Bowls. They aren't the best quarterbacks in the NFL history, but they were good enough. Go watch those guys. Yeah, they got rings because they played well. So go watch those guys.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've exceeded our not car quota for the evening, or at least football quota for the evening.
Yeah, probably.
At any rate, let's jump right into it with our cover story. Greg, you recently made a reel about how Dodge might be putting something spicy into the current Charger.
That is correct, sir. And as you can probably surmise, one, from the cover story, but two, because of past Chargers, there's a real good chance we're going to see a Charger V8 in the not too distant future. Tim Kuniskis, who is the CEO of Ram, as well as the head of SRT. So pretty good combo.
We're already off to a flying start. Greg has yeeted himself off the stream mid Tim Kuniskis mentioning. At any rate, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. God damn it. What the hell? All right. Oh. Okay. So we are experiencing this is a new one. Greg is phasing in and out on our software here. I don't know if I can. How do I show this? Okay, Greg is back for now, and I'm not touching anything. That was the weirdest.
Right.
That was the weirdest thing. What happened?
Well, so on my end, you eliminated from my screen, and it was just me, still in Streamlabs. Then you came back and were like, "Gah," and like just pixelated. And then I started to get different instances of you, and it stopped at about a dozen. And I'm like, I'm gonna rejoin.
Yeah. From my end, I have this little, and there's a bunch of tabs, and it shows everyone on screen and everything, or not everyone on screen, but everyone who's in the conference call. And your name is just blinking, which means you're on the call, you're off the call, you're on the call, you're off the call, you're on the call. I have no idea what just happened.
I didn't touch anything. It literally, it's just like.
The internet gods had something to do with that.
Probably, yeah.
For once, we're not blaming Greg.
Yay!
Root beer on
So
stream.
where were we? We were.
You were mentioning who
Charger.
Tim Kuniskis was.
Yeah. So Tim Kuniskis is the he's the head. He's the CEO of Ram and also the head of SRT, which is a good combo to have in your corner, especially when you want to create V8 performance cars. So and trucks by extension, because we're going to talk about that in a second too. So being the CEO of Ram. And the Stellantis powers that be are now pretty much all gone that have said, we need to go EV, we need to go blah, blah, blah. Tim Kuniskis is like, well, we can probably do that too, but why don't we shove a big V8 into things again? Which was, as we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast stream, what Dodge was really good at was V8s and, American muscle, modern American muscle. And old American muscle, but more for this conversation, modern American muscle. So what they are doing now is they brought back the Ram TRX, which is huge. So that is something that is a big deal because it was gone. They got rid of it in favor of the RHO, which still is a pretty badass truck, but it's not a TRX with a V8.
No, it is not.
So now they have a TRX with a V8, 777 horsepower. Welcome back. Now everyone's question is, when are they going to shove a V8 into the Charger? And they basically, to me, and it's interesting, you and I talked about this when we read this article, we both had sort of different takes on it. So here's what I took away from the article, and this is I think Tim Kuniskis was speaking to what was it, Road and Track, and basically said, if we bring back a V8, it's only going to be brought back in one model or one trim level, and that's Hellcat. And to me, that signaled that there's going to be a Charger Hellcat again within the next year or two, because you just brought back the Ram TRX with a Hellcat engine. you're talking about bringing back, if you're bringing back a V8 into the Charger, which one makes sense? And that's the one he mentioned. So to me, that means we're getting a Hellcat Charger again. And that's great. That's wonderful. I think that's fantastic. The other side of it is he said they're probably not going to be bringing back any other V8s into that model, which from a business sense to me makes sense because they're probably not going to sell a ton of them, especially with all of the other versions of it that they now offer, an EV, an inline six with, pretty good power. They're probably going to end up offering a hybrid version at some point, I would imagine. But either way, with all of that said, being able to offer a V8 period in that model is good. So to me, I believe that we are getting a Charger V8 Hellcat sometime in the near future. Chad, your take when you read this article was different than mine.
Yes, I believe the word the phrase you were looking for was correct. All joking aside, no. When I first saw this article, basically it's sitting here saying the V8 Charger is going to be a Hellcat. Now, there's two ways to look at it. There's the Hellcat's arguably one of, if not the most iconic American V8 in recent memory, simply because most people who don't, how do I phrase this? Most people look at it and as sort of the birth of the horsepower wars was with the Hellcat. Now, it's a little more nuanced than that. We can get into it if chat wants, but the general gist of it is that, Hellcat has more panache than the supercharged LT that was in a Camaro or the Corvettes. It has more panache than, say, the Predator from Ford. It just does. It was marketed brilliantly. It's the modern day Hemi, so to speak. And I don't mean it's a Gen 3 Hemi. I mean what the Hemi was to, say, our fathers back in like the 60s. The Hellcat was to our generation and the generations a little younger than us. So having the tippity top of the model range for when it comes to Mopar in recent memory, that's a good thing. The other side of that is what I look at, and it's also the most expensive version. Look at how much Hellcats actually cost, and they're basically six-figure cars, which means that if Joe Every Guy happens to want the new Charger with a V8, probably is priced out of it. Therefore,
yeah, it's true.
For the overwhelming majority of people, the only Charger they're going to be able to get is the 6-pack, which is meh, or the EV, which is super meh. And I don't have nothing against EVs. It's just a Charger EV is not it.
Right. Make a different car.
I still maintain that if they're bringing back the V8s, they should totally sub-brand the V8 side of things and bring back another name from the pages of their history. That way, the people with the Chargers and the Challengers from the last generation, they have their cars, they have that sort of last run, etc. And say something like a new Barracuda or Roadrunner or...
Yeah, bring back the GTO.
That's Pontiac.
I know. I just like messing with you. I just like seeing the face of your face just going stone cold. You're like, you just do the Peter Griffin with your eyes. You're like, ah.
Or like the
so
Patrick
fun
Stewart.
to watch.
The double face.
Yes. But no, I agree with that. I think that's a great idea. Like, bring back the CUDA and make that a line of cars with V8s. Like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
It gives you an excuse to redesign if you want to. However, what it does is it separates you. It could even be the same platform. But what it effectively does is it gets people thinking about a new thing and not the dumpster fire that has been the recent run of Chargers in this generation. As you've done on other content, they're not selling that well.
No.
They are sitting on lots that people don't want them.
Mm-hmm. You want to know what outsold the Charger this year? The Dodge Hornet. that nobody knows exists
and no longer exists.
The second best-selling car in Dodge's lineup outsold the Charger. Usually it is the Charger. Nope. Hornet, crossover, small, basically an Alpha. Not good. So, yeah, to say that they need
Chrysler and the Italians coming together. What a brilliant idea.
Said nobody ever.
Although, technically speaking, that did land us with some fairly decent Lamborghinis. But at any rate,
True.
I look at this whole new Charger thing, and as much as it, and like, if they were to go the other direction, let's just say, and only have a maybe a 500 horsepower V8, but not a Hellcat, I'd be equally disappointed because it feels like we're being underserved, right? It's like, here's your V8, go away. We can't be bothered to put a range-topping model in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact that, and look, I understand in their current model lineup, the Hellcat is the one that makes the most sense if you just look at it in a vacuum. Because what does the six-pack make? Like 550 horsepower, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah, it's like mid-fives, something.
So, even if you made a V8 that made 100 horsepower less, it would probably trounce the six-pack in sales.
Oh, in sales? I would say it would probably double or triple it.
So, there is that. There is we spent so much money developing this straight six, we kind of have to get our money out of it. There's that side of there's that approach.
Yeah.
There's the other approach of, shit, the six-pack didn't work. Let's try to recoup our losses with an engine we've already vetted. Right? Like, they're so far in the green when it comes to the Hemi, development costs versus units sold.
Yeah.
That, you could an argument can be made that you would offset that. I don't want to say Dodge is half-assing it, because they're not. They're putting the Hellcat back into things, which we all should be very happy about.
Yes.
The TRX, a new Hellcat Charger, yada, yada, yada. But I don't know. Like, the fact that it's only a Hellcat to me sort of tempers the news. I don't know. What do you... Does it matter that there's not a V8 underneath it to you, or is it just Hellcat good? They're at least moving in the right direction.
I think it's the latter. Hellcat good. They're at least they're moving in the right direction, because if they brought everything back at once, or multiple things back at once, and they colossally failed, then that would be the death knell. That would be, there's no more V8s at Dodge. We're gonna go sixes only. Nobody's gonna buy these. V8s are for the Ram lineup, period. And that's it. That's gonna be the end of it. So, excuse me. So I think they're doing it in the right. I think they're doing it in the right way. This is the soft open, and if you're going to soft open, I've said this before with so many other car companies. What do you open with? You open with something that people want to aspire to, and then you bring them in and try to sell them on something else. Exactly what the Viper did for Dodge in the 90s. Like, hey, we got this basically Corvette slaying supercar, looks cool, amazing performance. You can't afford this. Why don't you check out one of these cool SUVs we're making now? Why don't you check out one of these other cars we're making now? And you get some of that DNA infused into this. This is the same thing. You get the Hellcat V8 if it's successful, and it will be. Let's be honest. Like, Dodge people and Mopar people, they're gonna want this, and they're gonna buy it. If it is successful, then you get that trickle down effect. You're going to get that trickle down effect of, oh, you know what? Maybe we should have a 392. Maybe we should have a base V8. The 6 can live alongside of it. Maybe we don't need a hybrid. Maybe we make a hybrid V8. This could be the start of, the Charger being what the Mustang is. Like, you have the Mustang the four banger, you have the Mach 1, the Mach 1, you have the GT, you have like all these different variations of the Mustang, right? You have the new SC that's coming out. Maybe this is the start of that for the new Charger. You get the Hellcat, you get, the 392, you get whatever, this, that, and the other thing. But that could be a start of something that you get other models of it, if you catch my meaning. It's not like it's just this one thing and then that's all they're going to offer. I think there will be a trickle down, and I think there will be, even if it is just these like one-offs or these like differentiated V8 models, as opposed to a true like, here's your entry level V8. Then you have like it used to be, right, with the old one. Even if it is that, like, I'm all for it, and I think this can only be a positive, quite frankly.
It's absolutely not a negative.
Yeah.
It's the degree at which it is a positive that I think we disagree. I agree with you, but I do think for a slightly different reason. And what I mean by that is I think the Hellcat in this chassis is going to be a stopgap. And what I mean by that is I think we're putting the Hellcat in. They haven't confirmed it. They haven't made any official announcements, but they've all but announced it. But it's a very important distinction, especially if you speak corporatese, because guess what? Next year's Detroit Auto Show rolls around. We're bringing back the Hellcat.
Mm-hmm.
Or 6 months from now, or whatever. I don't care. Another buzz point. And then, let's just say hypothetically next year at the auto show, they say, here it is. Here's the brand new Charger Hellcat going on sale next year. So now they've stretched 2 years. They're probably going to have a 3-year model run on it. They've stretched that thing out for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next generation, depending on where we are politically is the best way to describe it, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see a new generation of Charger. And I think you'll see the trickling in, whether it be a new V8 from Dodge, whether it be a Gen 4 Hemi or something completely different.
Yep.
And kind of go from there and then sit here and say, okay, you wanted a Hellcat, but you couldn't get one. I'm not saying this is the marketing strat, but like basically what they're saying without saying it is, you wanted the Hellcat, but you couldn't get it when it came back. Well, good news. The 392 is back. The Scat Pack is back.
Mm-hmm.
And then that builds to a whole new Hellcat.
Right.
Or whatever the next big thing is from Dodge. That's it. I don't know why I blanked on the name, but I did. Here we are.
That company that we're talking about.
Literally the thing I mentioned like 72 times prior to that moment.
Yeah. We knew where you were going.
But and I know that's the answer nobody really wants. They don't want the slow, whether it be your example of the quote unquote trickle down V8ification of the Charger lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Or a stopgap that it's going to take 4 or 5 years to get an affordable V8. Hellcats have variable valve timing. I don't know if you know that, but I've been watching videos on them.
Do they really?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Random factoid of the day, but... And pretty much anyone who puts a cam in one immediately deletes it. So... Greg, move. And we lost Greg again. Oh, boy. Technology is being wondrous today.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm again. That one was my fault. My whole screen just went black.
Yeah, Streamlabs is...
It's having a day, I guess.
Oh, it's having the time of its fucking life, I'll tell you what. Because right now it's telling me I have two Gregsons on the call. So I guess there's
Really?
Gregson and Bizarro Gregson from the alternate dimensions
Hold
of
on.
whatever the fuck.
Let me hold my beard here, and I'll just get goatee Gregson from college, and which was Bizarro World Gregson. So there we go.
Yes.
Hello,
God.
this is me with a goatee.
Mirror dimension Gregson. At any rate,
Weird.
I think we'll end on the Hellcat stuff with a couple of things. Number one, it's generally a good thing that they're sort of going back to their roots. The pivot that they made was so unbelievably drastic that it's, yes, disappointing, but almost expected for them to not be fully back. You know, they went from making a lot of V8s to one V8, that the 6.4 that came in the 2500s. And then dumping a lot of their eggs into the Hurricane basket, which has been something of a clusterfuck if you've been following anything about the Hurricanes.
Oh yeah.
So, again, they're moving in the right direction. That's a good thing. We shouldn't slam them for it, because guess what? If we start shitting on them, even if it's something, it's like, that's great, but what about the rest of us? They'll be like, okay, we just won't do it. And that's objectively a bad thing. I did want to mention, since you mentioned it, and this wasn't on the rundown I sent you, but you mentioned it, so I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. What exactly do you think of the Mustang Dark Horse SC?
I mean, good. Make more Mustang models. You don't have any other cars, so have the SC1, the SC2, the SC3 for all I fucking care. Make more Mustang models. And interestingly enough, I literally just saw an article either today or yesterday about Ford saying that cars are not completely off the table anymore because of rising costs of everything else. And I'm like, oh, you mean if you make gigantic SUVs that are horrific on gas mileage, it's good to have small cars that do better on gas mileage for your overall fleet mileage? Wow. It's almost like we knew that 20 years ago and should have just stuck with that. So, I mean, they killed the Escape. So there was your Ford Focus of crossovers. So like, what are you going to have left? Trucks and the Mustang? Like, what's going on? So to me, like, as far as another variant of the Mustang, great. Make a bajillion of them. Is it 100% necessary as a Mustang? Probably not. But I'm very much here for it, and I like high horsepower cars from OEMs. So you get two big old thumbs up from me, quite honestly.
What do you think of the name?
Mustang Dark Horse SC. I haven't read, what does SC stand for? It's just supercharged?
Yes.
Okay, I figured, but I wanted to ask because I didn't want to be like, oh God, what did they make SC? Please let it be supercharged. Like I didn't actually see what they named it after. Thank God. It was like super high chain mail output, like fucking dumb. You know, car companies, they make the dumbest fucking names ever of things. So good. At least they named it appropriately. Yes, good. I like the name. I mean, it's straightforward. Mustang, Dark Horse with a supercharger.
And it doesn't bug you at all that it's effectively the GT500 replacement. And it isn't a GT500. It's not a Boss, nor is it a Cobra. They invented a new name.
So no, I don't. That doesn't bother me at all because this Mustang is so far removed from what a normal Cobra or GT. I know we have a GT500 that's modernized, right? I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because just because the SC exists doesn't mean we can't get another GT500 at some point. So
no, but the whole Ford not having the license to the Shelby name, that means we're not getting a GT500 anytime soon.
Sure, yes, but either way, again, it goes back to the point of it still exists. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have. and it is not a GT500. Sure, it's not a new GT350 either. Sure, but again, in the world we live in currently, with how car manufacturers are leaning towards currently, hybrids and EVs still being the future in a lot of their eyes, it existing at all is awesome. So, and I know that's sort of just like, oh man, well, good, it exists, great, and you sort of like just taking it, like, okay. Either way, I'm glad that it happened and it's still here, as opposed to Ford just being like, we don't need this, let's make another crossover, or let's bring back the Taurus. Like, who cares? Like, Mustang SC or Mustang Dark Horse SC, fuck yeah, give me more of that.
It's a stupid name.
I knew it was gonna happen as soon as I stopped talking. I knew that's why you asked, but it's fine.
I'll say this about it: the world is a better place when you have at bare minimum, another 800 or 800-ish horsepower Mustang.
Yeah,
World is just better. Because let me just do a quick Google search for the. Nope, there's no current Mopar with that.
Nope.
No, no Camaro. So
correct.
Part of me understands that they're trying to make this generation about the dark horse and sort of get a new name into the pantheon, so to speak, of great Mustang names. Mm-hmm. But when they were developing this car and they were like, what should we name it? It's like, well, we have the dark horse. What are we doing with the sun? We're supercharging it. Dark Horse SC. Anyone have an issue with that? And there's like one intern in the back. It's like, you could go with Boss. You could go with Cobra. You could have a spicier one and call it the Cobra R. Like, hello, pages of history here. This thing would be a perfect Cobra R in the modern era.
That's true, actually.
You got to remember, those Cobras back in the early 2000s, those were supercharged. They made a crazy whine. And those were the first Mustangs with independent rear suspension.
That's true.
That would have, and I think because of the name, it's just encouraging people to sort of take a dump on this car. But objectively, the fact that it's using a lot of the same parts as the outgoing or the old GT500, like,
yeah,
those aren't bad parts. They're just not. You have an engine with a block that could withstand 2,000 horsepower. You have a supercharger on it that's a pulley and change away from knocking on the door of 900 horsepower. Like,
true.
Those are good parts. And then I hear people going, it doesn't have a manual. Would a manual option be cool? Yes. Have I driven a 700 wheel horsepower Mustang with a manual? Yes, I have. But the only requirement to buy this car is money.
True.
Like,
and
a manual gearbox with that much horsepower and someone whose ability to drive has not been vetted apart from actually breathing and having a license. I understand. I also wish there was a manual option. But
I also knew that was coming too.
Like, I don't know. I think, like I said, I think the world's better off with it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It should exist, and it does now. So I'm very much okay with that.
Yeah. So Steve's in chat. What's going on, Steve? Lisa goes, nah, SC is the Mustang safety car. Fair enough. Good day to you as well.
That's
Cobra R with the 5.5 liter supercharged, the Terminator. I believe that's what you're referring to. And a 200 mile an hour top speed. I'd have to look into that. I don't know if they were geared that way, but they very well might have, because 200 miles an hour in a Mustang. Yeah. 2000s. Pow, 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 pow.
When was that car? It was like early 2000s or late 90s?
So there was a Cobra in the SN95.
And that was in the late 90s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then the Terminator came out in like 2001.
So the
I want to say
Cobra R was 2000.
2000. Okay.
Let's see here. Hoping along for. Wow, it was $55,000 back in 2000.
Wow. That's a lot of money in 2000.
Yeah, it had. God, this. I hate old journalism, like articles, automotive articles. I get it. This was before a time before YouTube was a huge thing or what have you. But this is seriously 4,000 words long.
Oh my god, that's so long of an article.
So so Sean was correct. It made 385 horsepower at 5,700 RPMs and the same number of torque at 4,500 RPM. Had a 6-speed manual transmission. It got from 0 to 60 in 4.7, 0 to 100 in 11, did the quarter mile in 13.2 at 110 miles an hour. Takes 29 seconds to get 150 miles per hour. And top speed was limited to 175. Maybe it was geared enough. At any rate, I think the point is that, like, I think if they called it the new Cobra R or what have you, and left the door open for like a Cobra in between the Dark Horse and it, I don't know. That would have made a lot more sense to me because right now you have Dark Horse 500 horsepower, and then 300 horsepower later. Like, okay, but I mean, they've already shown, and this will lead us into our next topic. They've already shown in motorsports that they can get 5.4 liters out of the Mustang or out of the Coyote. Lisa, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe in V8 supercars, 5.4 liters, 600 horsepower. GT3, same engine, roughly. BOP down to 550 horsepower was making over 600. Yes, I understand that's on race fuel. Yes, I understand that means you can be a little more aggressive with timing, compression, all of that. But Ford themselves have made a 5.4 liter version of the Coyote. Imagine that in I don't know what they would call it, probably the super duper Dark Horse, or whatever the fuck, if they're insisting on using that nomenclature. It's the thing is, the Mustang name has heritage. Dark Horse, not so much. I know there's the Dark Horse.
The darkest horse. The darker horse.
The pitch black horse.
That's right. The stone pony.
Somehow Vin Diesel is the spokesperson for that. They're making another one of those movies, too, by the way.
Fuck Dodge. I'm here for the new...
A part of the Mustang family.
Darkest horse, Mustang family.
I was making a Pitch Black reference.
Oh, yeah. Forgot
and the
that
Chronicles of Riddick and all of that.
Forgot those movies existed.
And since we're speaking of the Coyote...
Yes.
I've come across multiple posts on social media because basically how I find content is doom scrolling. I'm not doing anything. I'm between meetings and everything, scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Or what have you.
That's how I do it.
And I have seen post after post after post. Now, in case you didn't know, Ford had their motorsports, let me rephrase that. Ford Racing had their seasonal review or reveal just after or just before the Detroit Auto Show. But it was last week. And among they unveiled both Red Bull Formula One cars, the Racing Bulls and the Red Bull. Racing Bulls is still a galactically stupid name for the second Red Bull team.
100%.
Toro Rosso made so much more sense. At least it was Italian.
Right.
It literally was Red Bull in Italian, but it still made sense.
Correct.
Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. Fuck you.
So stupid.
And there was some chatter around that, which we may or may not get to. But what caught and this is where the Dark Horse SC was unveiled, but the secret was out because Red Bull themselves launched a video a day before, or hours before, with the car and having Max Verstappen driving around. Was Max Verstappen driving around? Yes. And I don't know if Ford knows this yet. Max Verstappen does a thing. It gets more views than when Ford does a thing. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
So,
correct.
like, that was kind of spoiled. So I was sticking around. They started with some Raptor stuff. Then they were like, we're going back to Pikes Peak with the electric pass. Cool engineering, but, like, pass. I mean, electric cars are the fastest things up Pikes Peak. That's not up for debate. They just are. It's a thing. I like engine noise.
Yep.
But what I was really excited for, they announced that everybody knows that next year they're going back to top-level sports car racing. They're racing in the prototype ranks. They're doing an LMDH car, which is in the hypercar class overseas, over at Le Mans specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was kind of speculating on the engine, and I was deathly afraid they were going to throw another fucking EcoBoost in it and just crush my soul. Because everybody else is running small displacement turbos. You know. What is it? Genesis has, I think, a 3.2 liter or what have you, twin turbo V8. Porsche has a 4 liter twin turbo. BMW has a 4.4 twin turbo. Acura 2.4. And then Alpine is doing stuff. Toyota has a turbocharged 6-cylinder. Same with Peugeot. Same with Ferrari. Cadillac's the only one flying the flag for the naturally aspirated V8.
I was just going to say, but there is a V8.
Hey, Mel B. Dev. I am butchering that. I don't know. He's over on YouTube. He says, "Good afternoon, Chad and Grayson."
Oh, swing and a miss. But I appreciate you being
We love you just the same. Greg is the definition of white guy, so and Grayson is a very white East Coast name.
Yeah, full transparency, Grayson may be whiter than Greg. I'll be honest. There are some Gregs that are not white. Grayson, however, I have never seen anyone that is not white.
And I'm pretty sure most people go immediately to Grayson Allen, who was a white guard at Duke, which arguably is like collecting all of the, I don't know, your pasty and white Infinity Stones.
Yes, and my thing was Greg Gumbel, one of the best NFL sports callers of all time. And I'm like, oh, he is not white. And he has the name Greg. So
but
Greg,
I think in all fairness now, just to help, I'm guessing Melbourne Dave is what his name is. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. There you go.
Don't sweat it, Dave. Do not sweat it. I use this as an opportunity to poke fun at Greg wherever I can. So from henceforth, the show will be now featuring me, Chad, and our Volvo expert, Grayson.
Damn it. Well, this is my last show, guys. I'll see you later.
And anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, right. Ford is taking the Coyote to Le Mans in a prototype. Literally, Ford Coyote versus Ferrari Solus. Nobody gives a crap. V6. And like 72 other manufacturers, because we are in a golden era of sports car racing again.
Mm-hmm. Which is awesome. And now 2 of them have V8s, which is great. Caddy and Ford.
And it's going to be another 5.4 liter. because obviously they have extensive expertise in that. And then, of course, you just see all of the fucking haters on the internet. Like, oh, Coyote going over there. It's never going to be able to compete. 99.9% of people don't fucking understand about the modern era of prototypes, the modern era of LMDH/hypercars. The engines don't have to make a gigaton of horsepower.
Right.
It has to make 670 horsepower, and it doesn't have to do that all the time, because unlike Formula One and a lot of other motorsports that have embraced hybrid technology, like in Formula One, the hybrid system adds to the horsepower of the internal combustion engine. At Le Mans, in the hypercar class or the GTP class here in America, it's basically LMDH and hypercar. The hybrid system is in place of. So if the engine makes 670 horsepower and you're making 70 horsepower of hybrid, you're still making 670 horsepower. Only 600 are coming from the internal combustion engine. And it's going to sound better than pretty much anything that doesn't have a Cadillac badge over there, and I'm here for it.
I mean, the people that are saying that it's not going to be competitive, have they ever watched racing? Like,
no, they're either Mopar simps or Chevy simps, and I saw another one. I'll get to that in a second. And they're just like
I'm sort of baffled by that, because
the internet do be interneting sometimes. Like, let's just be real.
Well, I mean, totally, but there is. Did you just take a? Oh, God damn it! I hate you so much. No, but like, I get the internet comments and the internet trolls are going to be out there, but like, how can you say that like it's not going to be competitive, as if Ford isn't one of the winningest companies of racing, period, that's ever existed. So like, I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing at this point. It's probably going to be competitive. And to your point, like, it's not like they are reinventing the wheel here and have to make an F1 engine from scratch 8 weeks before the start of the season. Because like that's no matter what manufacturer you are, that's a tall task. But like, Ford's gone sports car racing for many years. They basically built their sports car racing empire on the backs of "fuck you, Ferrari." So like I'm pretty sure that they're going to not only be competitive but be in the hunt. So yeah, everyone just needs to shut up.
Shut up, Greg.
Shut up, Meg.
Or I'm sorry, Grayson.
Shut up, Gray. See, it doesn't work. Doesn't work with Gray. You gotta go Greg. Shut up, Greg.
Let's see here.
I shall actually be right back. You catch up the chat, and I will return.
Alrighty. So, Sean goes, Chad, does that make you Batman? Let me put it this way. If I had Bruce Wayne's money, you'd know it. Not only would I have more cars, I'd have more projects, and a certain rust-based affliction and something front-wheel drive cars suffer from, that channel would be going and building the car we always talk about. Sean continues, Dick Grayson was one of Robin's for Batman. Yes. So 99.9% certain that version of Robin would go on to become Nightwing. Because I'm a nerd. Admittedly, not that much of a DC nerd, if I'm being completely honest. Not that that's in any way relevant to this show, but Wellborn Dave goes, in other words, since we call them house bricks because they shaped like a brick and they drive like a brick. Are we still talking about Mustangs, Dave, or did I miss something? Lisa goes, the Mustang, now the choice of Red Bull Ampol Racing here, will be super competitive. Didn't they win the 1000 this year? Like, already being competitive? I'm guessing Red Bull over down there is... Actually, I'm not guessing. I know Triple Eight Racing has been kind of the daddy of V8 Supercar for as long as I can remember. Which admittedly isn't all that long since I've been following from afar. That there. But you also... I think you have one, maybe two. I think maybe just one. I think you also have a Mustang GT3 in the 12-hour this year, which is pretty damn exciting. I'm actually really stoked for that race again this year. It's been a shame to see the car counts go down and down and down with that. It's nice to see the car counts go up. And the fact that Corvette's going to be there this year, Mustang's going to be there this year. I mean, what a month for motorsports. Daytona 24, Bathurst 12, and others. The Daytona 500, duh. The new era of NASCAR, so to speak, with our fancy new championship format. We'll have to get Greg's thoughts on that because we've talked about it here on the show, and he's definitely had strong opinions of it. He's a closeted NASCAR fan. He won't tell you. He won't admit to it. If he didn't have kids, he'd be watching NASCAR every week. Sean goes, we did some off-roading in the ZR2. Nothing serious. Also, a Blazer with a 3.5-inch lift is a little wobbly at 70 miles an hour. Imagine that. Car from the... God, that's got to be the 90s if I'm not mistaken. Lifted with, we'll just say, imprecise handling. That's the kind way to say it. Let's see here. David, now on Facebook, thank you for... I'm talking about Volvos. Drive like house bricks, look like house bricks. I mean, they didn't get the nickname Turbo Bricks for no reason. Them's might be fighting words for to Sean, who is a certified 100% card-carrying Volvoist. But it's all good. All good. Don't take anything I say too seriously. Ever. Just not who I am. Sean has confirmed. Yes, it's a 90s vehicle. Lisa goes, the entry looks amazing for the 12-hour. That it does. Because that is one of the coolest races of the season. And I think it's of the sort of, we'll call them the second, and I don't mean to call it a second tier event. That's not what I mean from it. But if you look at, like, quote unquote, the Endurance Triple Crown, Daytona, Sebring, Le Mans, then you have the 24-hour races. In addition to Le Mans and Daytona, you have Spa and the Nürburgring. I would put a few years ago, no question, Bathurst would be right up there with Spa in the ring. No question. The track, as we've covered, and to the Australians who are watching, you obviously don't need me to tell you what an amazing venue Bathurst and the mountain itself is. What an amazing track that is. Combining elements from so many different tracks across the world. It has that tight mountain section that really gives off some Nürburgring-y vibes with how tight it is. You know, where one mistake is race over. The long straights. It is one of my favorite tracks. If you said I got to drive on 3 tracks and I could only drive on those 3 tracks, Bathurst would absolutely be in there. I don't know what the other 2 would be, to be brutally honest. That would be a moving target. But I would probably say... probably Spa and the Nürburgring, right up there. Spa is one of my favorite tracks of all time, although the chicane at the end of the lap now, I like the bus stop better, but not like the people who run Spa-Francorchamps or in any way, shape, or form ever going to listen to some idiot from the States. And I used to, I don't want to say not like the Nürburgring because that's a fallacy, but like in like video games or sim racing or anything like that, I used to look at the Nürburgring and like, oh, I got to do this track again just because it's so hard to learn. As I've gotten older, and some might even venture to say matured, I see it for the challenge that it is, and like I dig it. I really do dig it. Dave goes, we won't take anything serious. It's all in fun. That's the vibe we go for here at Shifting Lanes. In fact, if you want a free preview on what this show is probably going to be rebranded to in the not too distant future, if we can figure out a way to make the algorithm not hate us for it. Again, I have to do a little bit of research, but literally the name of the show is going to be renamed into Shift, SHIFT, Talk. Play on the obvious, if you've ever played a sport in your life, shit talk. Which might come as some surprise to some of you. Was one of my favorite things about playing sports growing up as a kid. I was a talker. If you know me, if you're friends with me, you absolutely know it's how I hug. Lisa, Bathurst is an awesome drive, especially at 2 a.m. when there's no police around. Allegedly. See, that's a funny thing to me. I always wondered on those courses, or those racetracks, whatever you want to call it, that are very, very famous for being a racetrack. Like, is there ever not a cop there? Because, like, I got to imagine people are like, I'm going to go have some fun where the supercars or the GT3 cars or whatever have their fun. I mean, shoot, you probably have guys in pickup trucks now blasting up and down it just because of how great the Super Utes have been. What the hell? I was going to say something else. Oh, that does bring up a question for you Australians. Deer are fairly ubiquitous here. They're everywhere. Something you have to be on the lookout for, especially during like the rut and all that other stuff. But they are a massive problem here. I would argue they do more damage to cars than humans here. Probably don't, but that's just how, it's just a colorful way of saying just how they are. Are kangaroos active at night like deer are? Just curious. Fairly large ball of muscle hopping through the darkness. Anyway, Sean goes, in my experience, the Volvo 940 with some suspension upgrades and fat rubber. You and I have very different definitions of fat rubber. And I mean that in tire size. Behave, everyone. Tire size. The wide tires Sean is referring to are still significantly narrower than my front tires. Because yes, size matters. It's competition, and I win. But at any rate, he goes, with some suspension upgrades and big tires, it's one of the best handling solid axle rear-wheel drive cars I've ripped through on a track. Well, that's also because yours has that crafty, never before seen, never to be duplicated aero trickeration. Let's see here. Lisa goes, yes. David goes, yes. Kangaroos are active at night, and you have to be careful. Obviously, they're two different animals. Somehow we're on an animal kick, but I'm here for it. I swear it has to do with cars. The more I think about it, they're like the deer of Australia. Like, granted, there's, depending on where you live in here, and I'm guessing it's the same down there. But like to such a degree that we have on some of our, like, not our interstates, not our big highways, but like our state highways, which are basically highways with traffic lights. They might be 2 lanes, might even be 1, there might be 3. You never know. But they have traffic lights. They're not an interstate, which is just a straight shot. No traffic lights. Our state highways and our county highways, on a lot of them, especially in my area, they have these posts lining the sides of the roads, and they're actually reflectors because your lights hit it. It goes 45 degrees that way. The deer spook and go in the opposite direction. Hell, growing up, we had Greg probably remembers these. We had the whistles on the front of the car.
Oh, yeah.
That were supposed to deter deer from coming near your car.
I didn't do anything.
In case you missed it or weren't paying attention, right now we've reached the portion of the show where I'm comparing deer here to kangaroos in Australia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that makes total sense since there's an overabundance of both of those things in each area. Yes.
Steve over on YouTube goes, camels are much bigger and plentiful in Australia. I'm sorry, what?
What? Camels?
I'm no geography expert.
Geography.
Nor am I an animalist. It's clearly obvious by the direction this conversation has gone. But David goes, sticking with animals. Well, recently they had to bring out the flag because they had a snake on the track.
That's right.
That's crazy to me. I mean, we've all seen different animals on tracks. Like, snakes are like kind of at the area where, meh. If it dies, what's the movie? Rocky 4. If he dies, he dies.
I must break you.
And Steve goes, I've repaired dozens of vehicles that had the whistles, still hit a deer. Yeah, funny story. We had the whistles on our Chevy Venture minivan. Smoked a doe, probably a mid-size doe, not the minivan. Sent that thing like 20 feet sliding. Thing got up, ran away. Yeah. Only thing damaged, the only thing damaged, which is actually a testament to how strong those Ventures and all the GM minivans were. The only thing broken on the car itself was the deer whistle.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to is deer are dumb as shit, and they will literally run out in front of your car, even if you're screaming, "I'm going to murder you, deer! Here's me coming to murder you!" And they'll be like, "Huh?" And they'll, in deer language, they will still run out in front of your car. They're literally the dumbest animals on the planet.
I have seen a herd of deer run into the side of a parked car, or not a parked car, but a car at a stop sign.
Yep. I was driving back from the movies with Bardis in my car, and a deer literally ran into the side of my Ford Taurus in high school.
They are
the dumbest animals on earth. They really are.
Incredibly stupid creatures. Good eating, though, if you do it the right way.
Yes, that's true. If they do run into the side of your car, dinner.
Yes. You just got to be careful. Nothing, what's the word? How do I do this without being overly graphic? Nothing within the confines of the deer have ruptured into the muscles of the deer.
Right.
But great easy venison recipe. Ready? Marinate that bitch for 24 hours in buttermilk. Take it out. Put your favorite sort of seasonings on it. I personally like salt, pepper, and a little bit of smoked paprika. Sear it like scalding, like you'd sear a steak. Just a crazy hot skillet. Sear it on all sides. The backstrap is, but you're not trying to cook it. You're just trying to sear it, and then you braise it. So you put it in about halfway covered with water. Put some tinfoil on it. Put it in the oven, 375 for 30 minutes. The most tender venison you will have. The buttermilk marinade takes all of the gaminess out of it. Perfect.
That sounds amazing. I need to get some DoorDash. Do they DoorDash venison? Because I'd be down for that right now.
No, but I could probably make 2 to 3 phone calls and probably get you, we'll just say, freshly harvested venison.
I'm not gonna say no, but
Now, if you ask for a backstrap, you might have to grovel a little bit.
the question is, does Court and Lou deliver at midnight? Because I'd imagine that's what you're talking about.
We can talk later. We have Andrew Pastorelli over on YouTube. I recognize that name. Greg's going to tell me why, but he says, "What up? Thank you for watching, my brother. I know who you are, except Greg."
I believe Andrew is a Volvo guy.
Yes.
And again, Andrew, apologies because my memory is terrible. Like, actually terrible. So I believe Andrew has, please correct me if I'm wrong, a V60 Polestar? I want to say? Or a Volvo of some kind. But I do recognize the name being over on YouTube. So thank you for watching again and dropping in. Appreciate you, man.
Let's see here. We were talking about Sean's tire size on the 940 or whatever designation his Volvo is. I will never remember the correct designation of it. Stock tire width on the 940 is 185. I'm guessing you're going to say millimeters as opposed to meters, even though you said meters.
185 meters. God
damn. That is some thick. Grip is not a problem for Sean.
So thick.
Not being a combine to nearby foliage is. He was running 225s on all four corners. Insert Owen Wilson. Wow. Here. You can fit 235s with slightly rolled fenders. 235s and you have to roll the fenders. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Mean,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't
just an
laugh.
old car.
I understand the car. I understand what it's designed for. I understand all of that. I have 325s on the rear. He goes, I will be making boxy flares fit 275, still narrower than my front tires. In the rear for the third evolution of my 940 because 8,500 RPM LS swap. You might as well start investing in shims now. Let's see here. Sean continues. How big was the snake? How wimpy was the safety guy? Sean, you also have to remember that this is Australia, and they take the gold, silver, and bronze in the deadliest nope rope Olympics.
That's pretty accurate.
So, let's see here. David, yes, in Central Australia, they did bring camels over to be used as transportation animals. They decided to let them go, and they became feral. Interesting. Feral camels in Australia.
That's a new one. I never knew that one.
Can you train them to hunt the cane toads? Let's see here. The camel conversation continues. Holy shit. Lisa, if I didn't mention it before, thank you so much for popping in. Always appreciated. Steve, MCRA, approximately 1 million feral camels in Australia. Alrighty.
Wow. All right. Good to know.
Andrew, to answer your question, goes, he owns an S60. Just passing through briefly on the boat at the moment. Got to be back up in 8 hours. Now, when you say the boat, are you talking of an actual boat? Or is that what we refer to your Volvo as? Haha, I kid. But seriously, what kind of boat are you on? Sean goes, I would still pancake the snake. I mean, let me put it to you this way. On an active racetrack with the likelihood of that snake being able to flatline me in 15 minutes, yeah, he can go ahead. Although, I don't know if you necessarily want to flatline it. That'd be a little awkward for like the tire changer. It gets like, you squish the snake's head. Some of the, we'll just say, unpleasant bitey fluid gets onto the tire. The tire changer then takes it off. Suddenly he's blind.
Unpleasant bitey fluid. That's a Chad all-timer, I gotta be honest. That's really funny.
Andrew goes, yeah,
Oh my God.
the drill ship in the Gulf. Holy shit, man. Is that like
Oh wow.
an oil drilling ship? Are you
Is it actually on
basically
a rig?
are you basically landman but not on land?
Are you Billy Bob floating?
What can't Tyler Sheridan write about?
Yeah, right.
Man's on a roll. I think he's actually doing the new Call of Duty movie, which should be interesting.
Yeah.
Although where they go with a Call of Duty movie, I have no idea. But
It's
um,
it's gonna be a war movie, so you can pretty much go any way you want.
well, I don't. I just didn't know if they're going to go with like the Modern Warfare or the Black Ops. I
Yeah.
pray to God they don't go in the Black Ops direction. That was cool up until like Black Ops. Yeah, Black Ops 1,
85.
cool. Black Ops 2, cool. Black Ops 3, fucking, I don't want to know the raw tonnage of drugs that led to that campaign. Black Ops 4, no campaign. Black Ops 5 was technically Cold War, which is pretty decent. And the campaign in Black Ops 7 can eat my ass. David continues, up until recently, they were exporting. Could you imagine that being the dude in Saudi Arabia going, where are you going? I'm going to the port. I'm picking up some of our new imports. Oh, what are you picking up today? Camels.
From where exactly? Australia. The fuck?
I don't know if you've walked outside recently, Muhammad.
but we live in Saudi Arabia and there's an overabundance of them here. So why do we need them in fucking Australia?
Apparently, according to our great and good friend David, the bloodlines. So I'm assuming that has something to do with the fact that there's like, camel breeding. But
Yeah, obviously.
the funniest thing is he said bloodline, and I'm just thinking of like a camel and an ulafala just doing this. But WWE reference, if in case anyone hadn't picked that up. But
No idea.
this has been a fun one. I like it when chats like this.
Yes.
At any rate, while I take a quick break, as we do here, I give Greg something to talk about. Usually it's off the top of my head, and I know it's something he hasn't prepared for, and I make him pull it directly off the top of his head. Is that a good way to run a show? Probably not. But today I've actually prepared him with a topic. Greg, your favorite racing camel?
Oh,
Just kidding.
Two hump. Gotta go two hump. Get more water.
Camely two humps, not to be confused with 2 chains.
That's right.
I'll quit while I'm behind on that one. Here's your topic. We were talking about endurance racing. I was while you were out, I was actually talking about how back in the day I used to think of Bathurst in the same regard as the Nürburgring 24, the Spa 24. They were like 1A, B, and C in no particular order.
Right.
Obviously, you have the Bathurst 12-hour, you have Le Mans, you have Daytona, you have Sebring, you have Petit Le Mans, and then you have, whatever the hell the 24-hour race they just did not that long ago over in the Middle East that doesn't count as the start of the season, but it's still a 24-hour race. Greg, your favorite endurance race? Go.
Okay. All right. My favorite endurance race. Well, Chad just said that there's a bunch of them, right? You have the big boys, the Le Mans. You have the Daytona 24. You have the 12 Hours of Sebring. You have the Nürburgring 24. You have the Bathurst 1000, Bathurst 12 hour. So like there's a lot of really big name endurance races. I mean, for me, I guess I'd have to boil it down to how much I've played it on a video game, because as much as I love sports car racing, I don't really get to watch much of it just because we don't have cable. And sorry, I keep doing this. I'm itching my back. And it won't go away, and it's really fucking annoying. But I don't really watch a ton of it, and part of it is because I don't have cable. But even when I did have cable, we never had the packages to watch it. I'll probably in the next year have to subscribe to get racing again because F1's going to freaking Apple TV, which is the dumbest move ever. But if I end up getting that package, I'll probably end up getting another package to watch sports car racing just because I'm getting one, I'm getting both. So with that said, hopefully in the next year or two, I'll be able to watch more of it. But the whole reason for that is because I said that is because I have played a shit ton of racing games over the years. So I would have to say that would be my biggest that would be the biggest thing into my decision of this topic is because, well, which one do I enjoy racing the most? And the answer to that is Le Mans, because it's the OG. You know, if you're talking about, endurance races steeped in tradition that have the history behind it, that have the rivalries behind it, obviously Ford versus Ferrari. That's like, there's a whole movie made around that rivalry and it culminated at Le Mans. That would be my favorite just because of how much I did play and race that on the games. But also I did watch that a lot in the late 90s, early 2000s when it was, the Mercedes, the BMWs, the Audis, the Toyotas, like late 90s into the late 2000s. Like I did watch a lot of that racing along with playing it. I'm talking like 2010 plus. I haven't watched a lot of it, but I'd have to say Le Mans. That's the one I would want to race and go to and watch more. That's probably my favorite. The one that I think is the most entertaining is a different one, and that is 100% Bathurst, just because of how much I love that track. It is a track like no other on earth. The elevation change and the pure athleticism that you have to like conquer that track is just mind-boggling because it's such a workout going up the hill, the technical sections up on the mountain, the speed sections down below. Like it is such a mind F every single lap, and you have to be inch perfect or else it's just gonna absolutely ruin your day. That's probably the most entertaining track for sure. For me, and I'm actually trying to bring chat up so I can see what you guys are saying as I'm sort of doing this. But like, if I'm gonna say favorite, I have to say Le Mans. If I'm saying most entertaining, it's gonna be Bathurst. The one that was my favorite to race in the game or my favorite track to do was Spa. And I know, and also in the Nürburgring too, but like Spa was a lot of fun to do in those games. So I don't know. Spa, Chad will know, and he can correct me either in the comments or when he comes back. I know that there's an endurance race at Spa, but I don't know how long it is. I want to say 6 or 12. I want to say it's 6 hours of Spa, but I forget. But Spa is one of my favorite tracks ever, and it's fast. There's technical bits. There's fast technical bits. There's slow technical bits. Like it's long. It's my favorite race on the F1 calendar. It's a very, very awesome track, and it's just beautiful too. Like, I mean, just El Rouge. Just looking at that corner is like that's like my racing mecca, if you will. So, I don't know. I think, and David responded in chat, Dubai 24 hour. That was the one. Excuse me. That was one that Chad was talking about. The race in the Middle East, the 24-hour race in the Middle East. That was technically the start of the season. That isn't. So, 24-hour GT3s. WEC does the 6 hour. That's what I was thinking of. Thank you, Chad, responding as us in chat. Spa 24-hour was the GT3s, and World Endurance does the 6-hour. That's the one I was thinking of at Spa. But either way, Spa endurance racing is very cool too. But yeah, I'd say Le Mans. Le Mans is probably my favorite track overall. I really loved it when it was the old Mulsanne straight, where they didn't have the chicane, or not the chicanes, but like the bus stops or the corners involved, and it was just a straight shot, and you were doing 250 down the backstretch and in the Type C cars and stuff like that. That is like the peak of endurance racing to me. Hearing like the 787 blast up the Mulsanne, and like those old like late 80s, early 90s eras Nissans that like Jeff Brabham was driving. Because like I used to go to Watkins Glen and we used to watch those IMSA cars. And I know it's not Group C or anything like that, but cars with those liveries, and cars similar to those we're doing Le Mans, and that to me is like the ultimate. So if I could go like watch and do an endurance race of any era, like that, to me that would be it. Like the late 80s, early 90s craziness of Le Mans with what was that story, Chad, under your back? The story of the broken turbo that the Nissan,
broken wastegate.
The broken wastegate that allowed the Nissan to do like 260 on the back straight or something on the Mulsanne straight. It was like,
yeah, it was weirdly wild. Enough, it wasn't. I don't think it was ever the fact. Like, I think it was. Well, basically, the whole story goes is that he had a stuck wastegate, so right. It basically let none of the boost escape.
Yeah.
So it was making damn near 800, 900, maybe even 1,000 horsepower. We don't know.
No. Which is crazy.
Which is insane. And it's one of those things when like you're as a driver, it's like the Iron Man scene where like Jarvis is like power reserves at 500%. And you just see the close up of Tony Stark. How about that? Like, David, your wastegate is stuck. How about that? Like, and this is also in the era where they did have quali engines.
Right.
Where like they would melt the fucker down regardless.
Right.
I want to say it's not the fastest top speed though down Mulsanne. Fast?
No, it's just sort of. I don't think so. I think it's the most legendary story about it.
Well, I think it was the what you call it. I think what it was is the story was epic, and that Nissan was actually within a shout of being competitive. Like it may not have been the car, but it wasn't not the car. The car that has the record is the P88 Peugeot, which was a dumpster fire of a car. All it did was go fast. And like,
in a straight line.
And the Europeans like to give us shit about going only fast in a straight line. Suck it, France. But that's the car that famously led to the Bugatti Veyron.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember, at the time of Bugatti Veyron's conception, it was being led by Ferdinand Piëch, who also worked on the Porsche's race team before he became an executive for the company as a whole, or for Volkswagen as a whole.
Right.
And that car built. So he wanted to take the record back for the Germans by using Bugatti, but because part of Volkswagen Auto Group, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
And that was the inspiration for the top speed of the Veyron.
It's pretty cool.
No, I mean,
what is the top speed? Is it 258?
252 miles an hour or 407. or I'm sorry, 253 miles an hour, or 407 metric leaf waters per hour.
Metric leaf water. I like that. That's good.
But yeah, but the car couldn't stay together. Like, it never finished a race. It was constantly like on the verge of grenading itself.
Yeah.
And everything. It was just a really, back in the era where like they're like, yeah, go as fast as you want. Safety is the size of your driver's balls.
Yeah. Safety is how hard you press the brake pedal.
Well, or your aversion to lifting.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
At any rate, since we're speaking of motorsport, might as well get to our second advertised topic.
Yes.
As you know, the 2026 Formula One season is approaching. There's new engine regulations. There's new teams. You have, obviously, Cadillac is very front and center as the new team. However, Sauber is now Audi, whatever the hell their primary sponsor is, racing. So you have Audi entering the fray. And Aston Martin is no longer using Mercedes power units, which could prove to be something of a tactical blunder, given that everyone seems to assume that the Mercedes power units going into this year are the engines to beat, as they often are. They nailed the when the V6 turbo hybrid era began. They were the best right out of the chute. Now that there's a new engine regulation, shouldn't be anyone's surprised that Mercedes has kind of crushed it there. What is interesting is that Aston Martin has a partnership with Mercedes for their road vehicles. However, in Formula One, they are now using Honda. Honda last helped Red Bull and Max Verstappen win championships. And then they sort of kind of exited stage right, but still had a toe in the water. And Red Bull took over like the development, the manufacture, and Honda was kind of a consultant. And that led to Red Bull Powertrains, which is now Red Bull Ford Powertrains. So like technically Ford is over here working with Honda's old homework, while Honda's over here not. It's weird, but obviously Honda learned lessons, and they're going to be with Aston Martin. And Aston Martin is kind of everybody's darling pick to be that brand that hasn't, let's face it, had any sort of top-level success in Formula One.
Right.
Or at least in our lifetimes, maybe even our parents' lifetimes. I know old Grand Prix racing was a thing, yada, yada, yada. But Adrian Newey on board. You have Big Daddy Stroll throwing money everywhere. And they've kind of assembled like an Avengers-level squad over there. So everybody's expecting them to be quick. However, Honda is now their engine partner. So they're almost like everyone else. They're starting from scratch on the chassis, and they're also starting from scratch on the engine. Now, obviously, Honda has the lessons, like I mentioned before. Why this is interesting, apart from the obvious. Oh, you're moving your mic. I'm like, why does it literally the way you're moving your mic and the way it sounds in my ear is literally the way my phone text message noti goes.
Oh,
like
no.
It's like a little did. And anyway, me seeing a squirrel and getting sidetracked aside.
Squirrel.
Lawrence Stroll recently mentioned, when asked about the idea of expanding the technical partnership beyond Formula One. Meaning, basically, road cars. And he said, on that particular topic, he's, quote, very open. It's entirely possible. These are two great companies in Aston Martin and Honda getting together. Our current plan, obviously, our very ambitious Formula One works team project. Safe to say that is the beginning of our relationship. We actually, at this point, have not discussed a production car or hypercar or supercar together. There is absolutely no reason why and this is where it gets interesting, there's absolutely no reason why we can't do so going forward. I tell you, Aston Martin would be very open to the idea based on this partnership. I'm sure Mibe-san, M-I-B-E-san, I apologize for butchering that. Meme-san? I don't know. I'm sorry. Might be excited about the idea. So let's just say all doors are open to explore the greatest way to have the best partnership we can. I bring this all up. And Mibe-san, I'm just going to go with it. He goes, as Lawrence just said, first you will start with the F1 project and create results. Because this is our top priority on the subject, in any mass production projects, there are no talks, but the racing activities between the two, the more successful of this is going to be where the value applying, where we learn from that to production cars. So I don't know at what time. Basically, they're open to the idea, but there's no active plans for it. My question is to you, as a former Aston Martin owner.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? I guess we'll tier this. What are your thoughts about Aston Martin currently using AMG engines? And then pivot that to what would you think of an Aston Martin with, say, Honda power? Or a Honda with Aston Martin sort of engineering and the chassis?
Okay. All right. First, let's tackle the Honda engine first. This is weird. Let's be honest. This is a British manufacturer using a Honda engine.
I mean, Senna drove a McLaren. Senna drove a McLaren with a Honda engine.
I was literally just gonna say, are we the late '80s McLaren? What is happening? What is happening currently? It's weird in the sense of in modern times, it is odd. I guess it makes sense in a historical standpoint because McLaren, Honda, I get it. But it just seems odd. And I can't really put my finger on why. I know that there is you have manufacturers that they intertwine a lot, right? Obviously, Supra with BMW now, that's
Aston
not
Martin with Mercedes-Benz.
Right, exactly. Aston Martin with Mercedes-Benz. But that one makes more sense to me because they're both very much luxury performance brands. Honda is not that. Even back in the 80s, they weren't that but McLaren also didn't have the F1 at the time. So either way, it just seems like a strange pairing to me. I guess in the same sense that Red Bull Honda also seemed like a strange pairing to me. When I think modern performance, I don't think Honda at all. And
why would Red Bull has never been up until recently its own engine manufacturer?
Well, I know, but Honda in F1 period in modern times doesn't make sense to me. They don't do a lot of motorsport the way they used to. Part of the selling point of their cars in the early 2000s and 2010s was that they were everywhere in motorsport. And they even had a commercial of a minivan, the Odyssey, coming in with an IndyCar sound to it because they were one of the biggest IndyCar manufacturers at that point for engines and powertrains. And I'm like, but now I get, okay, they have performance cars, cool. They have the CTR, great. It just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know why, and it's a very hard thing. I cannot.
You're a bougie motherfucker, and you don't want your beloved Aston Martin slumming it with some JDM common man vehicle.
I don't think it's that either.
Steve is very excited. Suddenly, he wants Aston Martins.
Yes, as our resident Honda connoisseur. But I don't know. There's something about it that it seems weird. Now, it could be a totally different thing, and I could see Aston Martin, Honda pairing maybe the same way as McLaren, Honda eventually. But off the top of my head and off the rip, it just seems odd. That's
So
sort of what
you
I'd
said
boil it down to.
back in the 90s, Honda was everywhere in motorsport. Right? Am I
Yeah.
paraphrasing you correctly?
I mean, pretty much, but not even just late 80s, 90s. That continued into like the 2000s, like well into the 2000s.
Like 2026?
Well, I mean, obviously, yes, in Formula One.
Formula One,
Yes.
Acura, LMDH, GTP car in IMSA,
See, that's where you got me because I always forget about that.
NSX GT3 car, which admittedly isn't as ubiquitous as some other GT3 cars.
Yeah. Do they have a GT 300 or GT 500 racing car in Japan too?
Pretty sure it's still. Prelude.
Prelude. Thank you. Yep. All right.
TC1, i.e., the World Touring Car platform, Honda.
Okay.
IndyCar, Chevy, Honda.
True.
Formula One, obviously, Honda. What am I forgetting? I'm sure there's a series I'm forgetting somewhere. But the point is, they're still everywhere in motorsport.
Yeah, I guess you're not. And maybe that's a fault of my own for not watching as much motorsport and not realizing that there is in as many places as I think.
But I will say to you that an Aston Martin, or the idea of an Aston Martin road car, like a Vantage or a Vanquish or a whatever. The idea of an Aston Martin road car with Honda power is weird.
That might be where my mind is going.
I think, for me at least, that's more of a... What do you think of when you think of Aston Martin? You either think of a snarling, pissed off pit bull of a V8 engine, or you think of a V12.
Right.
What is Honda very famous for not making? A V8, at least a road-going V8.
Yeah, both of those things.
Or a V12.
Right.
They don't make anything bigger than 6 cylinders. Yes, there's a boat engine V8. Yes, but it's a low revving, single overhead cam boat engine. Although it would be hilarious to play with one of those things.
Yes, we need that.
Not gonna lie. But it just... And again, this isn't brand snobbery. It's an odd thing because it's like a Charger without a V8 option. It's like a Mustang without a V8 option. It's like Ferraris with V6s. Oh, wait, they do that. It doesn't scream Aston Martin. Now, with that all being said, there's nothing to say that, I mean, if you look at modern Aston Martin, the V12s seem to be the Cosworth domain. The V8s they're getting from Merc. I see this partnership working in the opposite direction. I see I don't even know what you want to call it, but imagine a Civic Type AMR, i.e. Aston Martin Racing. So,
I mean,
or some super sedan Honda that's been breathed on by the folks at Aston Martin.
Right.
Like, even then it feels weird. It's just a combination of, it's like, here's your brand new Honda. Oh, it's the Type AMR. That's really cool. It has actual people who work in motorsport have breathed on this. That's really cool. Why is the interior made out of cows that were like like what is going on? Like, why is there a winged badge on the steering?
Yeah.
Wait, you want me to spend $80,000 for this Civic? What the fuck is wrong with the market cases?
What's that car that McLaren touched in the 80s and 90s?
The Fox Body Capri.
Yeah, this screams
ASC.
This
Although
screams
it was
ASC Capri.
Although, I don't know if that was like McLaren. That's a
No,
weird
it
one. I'd have
was.
to
It was. 100% was.
But I will sit here and tell you that is one of the coolest Fox bodies. It is one of the few Fox bodies that doesn't have a V8 in it that is cool. And, spoiler alert, if I ever get my hands on a Fox body and I do a Fox body project, I'm obviously Roadster Shop spec chassis. Duh. But I'm going to use a Capri body. I like the Capri front fascia a little bit more. I know as a Mustang guy, I'm probably... My phone's about to blow up with me losing my Mustang card, but I think it looks really... I think it looks... But... Like,
to your point, that Honda reference of like Aston breathing on it very much screams that McLaren Capri to me. Or...
Yeah,
if you want a different one that's even more popular, the Audi A2 wagon that Porsche.
Oh, the RS2.
Basically, the RS2. Sorry, not A2. RS2 that Porsche basically built.
That crazy time in the I think 80s, where in a Porsche factory you would see a Porsche, and Audi. Okay, we all kind of know that car, and that actually used a lot of Porsche. That was an actual Porsche collab between them and Audi.
Right.
And I'm going to forget it, but the C-Class or the E-Class with the V8.
Yeah, the 600?
Not the 600. Basically a Mercedes, a midsize sedan with the 5-liter V8 engine from their fucking Le Mans car.
Yeah, and Porsche literally built it for them.
Porsche did not only built it, but they did some of the engineering, but they did it because Porsche to this day is still a consulting firm. Like you can literally take your Volvo and go, Porsche, make this better.
Yeah.
And they will.
They sure will.
It'll cost you an arm and other things.
Yes.
But
they will.
It will. And that's what it was with Mercedes, because the Mercedes were built for 4, 5, and 6 cylinders. Yes, you can get a Mercedes sedan with a 5-cylinder. From back in the day, obviously. And the frame rails were too narrow for a V8, so it had to be widened. And Mercedes like, yeah, we can't be bothered. However, they sent it to Porsche. They did the engineering. They widened it. They do it. And now, to get the 500, because it was a 5-liter V8, they produced the car. They sent it to Porsche. They disassembled the front. They put the Porsche stuff on it. They put it all back together. It went back to Mercedes to get the finishing work, i.e. the interior, all of that stuff. So you can imagine, with all of that back and forth, not exactly the most efficient manufacturing process, so they were galactically expensive. The cars themselves were incredibly good, but just their manufacturing, they were so priced out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Saleen has some wild Radwood looking Fox bodies, Steve. Steve goes, the Toyota V8s are superior. I'd expect nothing less from you, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's give it up for JDM Steve.
I love JDM Steve. JDM Steve's great.
But it goes back to it. Like, no matter which way you sort of swing the pendulum, a Honda Aston Martin road car, there's a lot of stuff that has to go on for that even to become remotely making sense. Like, the only way it kind of makes sense in my head is if the Aston Martin somehow breathes on Acura. But I don't know if... Or, on the flip side, I hate to say it, but the Aston Martin's SUV hasn't exactly been a sales phenomenon. Badge engineering and could happen.
Yeah.
It would absolutely, I think, kill the idea of a Honda Aston Martin or a Aston Hondar or whatever. If a crossover is the first thing they make.
Martin. Yeah, I agree with that.
But, like, I just don't see it fitting. Like,
The racing side seems more like
I mean,
palatable.
the racing thing
road car seems odd.
makes a ton of sense because Honda has a history. Honda's active in motorsport. You know, a turbocharged V6 is right up Honda's street. You know, all that. Like I said, where it gets weird is like I think I sent this to you in the chat. Where it gets weird is like the new James Bond movie featuring the new Aston Martin. I'm not gonna say it, but it's been breathed. It has a Honda engine. Cut to a scene. James Bond driving the car. The damsel in distress is right there. Doesn't even know who he. Who are you? Who are you, my savior? The name is Bond. James Bond. VTEC just kicked in, yo. Like, doesn't really fit with the aesthetic.
Step into my screaming K motor.
And I'm just picturing James Bond pulling up. Or wait, it gets better. I'm going to paint you a whole beautiful picture here.
Oh, my God.
The valet pulls up. James Bond's new, sleek, beautiful Aston Martin two-door coupe pulls up. James Bond gets in. He pulls out. And in the distance you hear...
Oh, my God. I wish that would happen with every fiber of my being.
Kind of makes me want to make like a meme clip of the scene from Casino Royale where he like flips it.
Yes.
And it's like you just hear you just hear a Honda engine transitioning from normal to and VTEC kicking it because you can actually very audibly hear it when VTEC kicks in on the performance.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just like, and then he flips because VTEC. Even James Bond can't handle the fury of VTEC. Honda, Aston Martin.
Please make that a reel tomorrow. Please, for the love of all that is holy, make that into a reel for tomorrow. Write it down. Make it happen.
I have ideas. I just got to see if I can make it work. I got to find the right scenes. Yeah, like Steve says. James Bond gets in. Shall we listen to some music, my darling? Absolutely. Turns it on. Teriyaki Boys intensifies.
Yeah. I will be in Tokyo.
Or it's just like... just the jokes are...
Oh, they're endless. They're so good.
I guess a perfect meme would be it's just like you have the Aston Martin and obviously the girlfriend looking angry at him being Mercedes and then the new one being Honda or just VTEC.
Oh, that's good. That's a classic. Ooh. Oh my God.
At any rate, that...
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? To anyone who's still watching, go make your favorite Aston Martin meme. And when you post it, at Shifting Lanes. Add us on the post.
Please, yes.
And depending on how many of you do it, I'll show them next week. And we'll pick our favorites. Yes. And if you're still in chat and you think someone would like to get involved who may not be here right now, go tell them. Again, tell them to add us on your preferred social media platform. X is probably a terrible one to go because I don't pay attention to that. We just haven't. I've tried a couple times and just X is a whole thing. And it's not a political thing. I'm just saying from a content creator's perspective.
Oh yeah, it's kind
to make X work, you have to be spectacularly active.
Yeah, and that's not just active. Like, oh, we need to post 3 or 4 times a day. It's like, no, you need to post like 4 or 5 times an hour.
Oh, you need to post something, and then you need to just post some text or reply to everyone who's in your newsfeed. Yep. It's just a lot.
No thanks.
On Instagram, Facebook, create it, add us. If anyone follows through, we'll take a look at them.
Yeah.
But for tonight's show, I think that's a good spot to end. So, on our way out.
It's already been 2 hours. I didn't even realize.
Time flies when you're talking about Hondas with VTEC
That's true.
that are going into Aston Martins. I butchered that. I know. Greg, your dad advice for the week. Go.
Yes, my dad advice for the week. World's a little scary currently, but it doesn't mean you can't be kind. So a lot of people say it's free to be an asshole. It's also free to be kind. So when you can, try to choose some kindness instead of just being a total dickhead, which is what a lot of people are choosing to do currently. So just remember, it's free to be kind. It's free to be a dickhead too, but it's going to make your life a lot more rewarding if you choose to be kind. So maybe try kindness once in a while as opposed to just the constant negativity out there. So that's my advice for the day, and make sure you pass it on to those that are watching, i.e., probably a lot of the young kids, because no matter what side of anything you lie on, doesn't matter what it is, they're looking up to you. So
Kindness.
Try to be a good person. Honestly.
Kindness knows no political affiliation.
Correct.
At
Exactly.
all. And on that note, that's going to wrap up today's show. I want to thank every single one of you for watching, commenting, sharing, liking, doing all of the things that, well, frankly, helps us.
Yes.
But for this show, that's going to be a wrap. And we will catch you guys, and actually girls, because girls actually watch the show. And that's just
we have a female audience. Insane.
Woohoo! That 10% is really coming through. Yes. And I'm rounding up. Don't. Anyway, thank you again. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one, everyone.
Peace.